Is it done?
Should be done. Should be live.
Wonderful. Richard Hart, very nice to meet you, sir.
Good to meet you.
So is this the same Richard Hart that bought Bitcoin at $30, that retired in 2003, that's a serial entrepreneur and the founder of BitcoinHex?
Correct. That is I.
Did I
I,
miss
I
anything?
was I was a lot of stuff, yeah, but it's fine. I wrote a couple books. They're free. You can download them. I got like a bunch of chat rooms with like 6K people, 2K people, 1,500 people. I got
Well, I don't want to pass up all that stuff, so please tell us about the books.
all right. So I'm Richard Hart, retired serial entrepreneur. Started my first business out of my front yard. It was car stereo. Did it for 2 years. Worked great. Then I got into search engine optimization, pay-per-click management. This is in 2001. Google AdWords didn't exist yet. There was no way to bid on traffic on Google. You had to like buy banners. And then got some clients that did well. Mortgage leads. Started a mortgage company. Cash advance loans. Miracle Cleaner. A lot of different businesses. Anything we could sell on the internet. Got up to 150 employees. Did 60 million a year. 60 million a year in gross sales. What else? So then I retired, moved around the world, lived in Panama a couple of years, Costa Rica, Argentina, traveled Europe 5 years, spent a year in Australia, just been everywhere, done everything. And first saw Bitcoin when it was $1, and then thought nothing of it. And then when I saw the Silk Road article on Wired, it's when I got in, along with a lot of other people, which made the $30 peak. Like I'm one of the people that helped make that bubble. And then rode it down to one, and then sat through a bunch of bubbles after. Then came out publicly to defend my investment when I saw Ethereum was overtaking the market cap, and I didn't own any Ethereum. So spent some good time telling people not to buy Ethereum to my own detriment and theirs, because they would have made a lot of money had they sold the top. So I learned that being technically right is not the same as being price right, and you need to separate the two, because a lot of bad projects pump, a lot of good projects die, and things that get hacked, the price doesn't even go down. It's a very funny game we play in the crypto speculation game.
Your audience knows your origin stories inside and out. Mine does not. So if they're watching live right now, they're probably like, "Oh, this shit
Yeah.
again." I'm
Well,
sorry.
sorry
I'm
guys.
sorry.
Trying to tighten it up, trying to make it shorter for you guys.
But what I really want to talk about is some of your philosophies. I think that you are much more realist when it comes to Bitcoin. You have a lot of influencers online, and they're saying buy Bitcoin. It's going to be mass adoption. We're going to be down at the grocery store buying bread and milk and cereal with Bitcoin. Just give it time. And you said Bitcoin has failed to be a currency.
Yeah,
And
100%.
what does that mean? And what do you say to somebody when they say just give it more time? This is the internet 1993.
Well, if you look at how startups operate today, good ideas go viral and rapidly scale to millions of users quickly. So Airbnb went from no users to lots and lots of users over maybe 6, 7 years, something like that.
Hmm.
Uh, Uber went from no users to lots and lots of users over maybe the same time frame, similar time frame. Bitcoin's been around for longer than both of those companies and has 1,000x less users, 100x less users, right?
Hmm.
So in Bitcoin, there was only 4.3 million wallets that have over $100 in them. Now, there are users of exchanges that think they're users of Bitcoin. They're not. And they think they own Bitcoin because an exchange owns the Bitcoin for them.
Hmm.
That's not what Bitcoin was designed for. Bitcoin was designed to get rid of all those people. You hold your keys, you own your money, not your keys, not your coin, right? So the real utility, the real usage of the currency can be seen in the unique wallets, right? And one person can hold more than one wallet. So assuming, like if I tell you there's only 4.3 million wallets with over $100 in them, we could actually have less than 4 million users of the Bitcoin network, because 10 of those wallets could just belong to one guy, right?
Right.
That's pitiful adoption, absolutely
Right.
pitiful. And we've had retailers stop accepting Bitcoin. We've had ATMs shut down. Now it depends on where you live. I guess some places maybe there's some ATMs opening up. I know a lot of places where they've just shut down. So if you've got an 83% price drop and you've had 10 years with absolutely no retail adoption at all, 2 of the top 400 retailers accept the currency, and the ones that do accept it also accept 10 other things. Let's be real. 90+% of your price is in the speculative value and of the store value proposition, which if you hold longer than 3 years, you're always cash positive. If you hold longer than 3 years, Bitcoin's been the best investment of nearly any investment possible. Now, that being said, is that a currency? No, absolutely not. Now, is that okay? Yes, because a store value is worth more than a payment network. Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, 770 billion combined. Gold, 7.7 trillion. That's 10 times larger.
Right.
So the only actually successful use case in crypto, and I'm talking all of crypto with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, is store value, speculation. The only good thing that crypto does currently is the price can go up and you can sell it for more fiat. That's it.
So why is it not working? Look, I could have not done Crypto 101 without Ethereum, without cryptocurrency, without paying editors across the world in many different countries and blog writers and people who they all came from the community, from either Australia or from Europe or USA, and I was able to pay them with this. Why is it not working if it's so functional?
Well, you're getting a bad deal. You're just not doing the math right. So I'll explain the deal that you're actually getting to you, and then you'll understand you'd be better off paying than cash.
Okay.
Here's how it works. People spend the majority of their money on rent and food. Rent and food are paid in your local currency, always. So if you live in America, you pay in dollars. So if you work for a crypto company and you live in America, one, you receive these magical, wonderful coins at the rate at which they were, the exchange rate when you got them. And then you have to sell them as quickly as possible, or you might not be able to pay your bills because price could drop. Sometimes it drops 10% an hour. Sometimes it drops 20% an hour. Sometimes it goes up 10% in an hour. Do you want to not be able to pay your rent? Are you living day to day like most people? Okay. Well, you got to sell it as quickly as you possibly can. All right. Well, when can you sell? After some confirmations. How many? I don't know. Let's call it 3. Well, how long does 3 confirmations take? Well, sometimes it takes 2 hours, and sometimes it takes 1 hour, and sometimes it takes 30 minutes. So you better hope that you can sell your coins in that hour to 2 hours to 30 minutes, you can't tell when, at the rate that you got them for. Now, how much are you going to pay in fees? 2.5% withdrawal fee maybe. Bid-ask spread. If you're doing big volume, you're going to hit the order book hard and get slippage, maybe 0.25% there. You're probably not a whale, so maybe the bid-ask spread doesn't matter to you, but you are going to pay a market order fee, which let's call it another 0.1%. So now you're down 3.6% or 2.6%, and you've waited 2 or 3 hours to get your money. And guess what? Now you've actually just started the wait, because now to pay your bills, you've got to wait for that exchange to send you your fiat to your normal bank account. So let's add another day to your shit. So now maybe you can pay your rent. What? Like, you could have paid me by PayPal and it would have been quicker. You could have paid me by any fucking method imaginable and it would have lower fees and be faster. So this dream, this fantasy that crypto of any form can work well for payments is dog shit. It's not true. Unless, and I've never seen this yet, but in theory, it's possible. You could have a circular ecosystem where everyone just builds up enough stack of this currency that they can transact with each other. But you have to re-pump back into the stack in a whole circle, right? So like the farmer makes the food and the people buy the food and it goes to the restaurant and take a crap and they pay their employees and all this. Never seen it. Never happened, right? It's like, it's a dream. Now, should it occur one day? Yes. Just like email sucked for a really long time. One day, crypto should be as useful, right? I don't care about one day. I care about now. I want to make 100x or 1,000x this year. I don't give a shit about what happens in 20 years. Oh, maybe Bitcoin finally got some users 20 years from now. I don't have time for that shit. I got 300,000 users in my own retail business back when I did business 10, 15 years ago, and it only took me 2 years to do it.
With the dollar.
So, like, what? Bitcoin adoption's garbage. Now,
So your
why
quote
can't I
is,
fix Bitcoin's adoption? Because
okay, go
there's
ahead.
too many freeloaders. If I spent all of my money on marketing, I'd have to drag up all the other dead weight of all the other people that aren't helping me,
Hmm.
right? Now, what if I had my own project without all the dead weight? What if I had enough money to be cash positive onboarding new users?
You said people don't give a shit about changing the world. They just want to make money. Is, is that true?
Oh, yeah, it's 100% true. However, it's slightly misleading because most things that do make money do make the world a better place.
Okay.
So the only things that make money that make the world a worse place are vices, where you get addicted, you get people addicted to games that destroy their consciousness and waste their life away.
Hmm.
Grinding games that have no end, where you do the same repetitive thing over and over again, destroying the human, right?
Candy Crush.
Clash of Clans, Candy Crush, any casual game pretty much.
And you're not a
If
poker
you want
fan.
to
We know this.
if you want to learn how to stop playing those games, there's a video on my YouTube channel that'll tell you how. I used to be
All right.
addicted for 10 years and I kicked it. And there's some tricks I can teach you to help you kick it too. There's better ways to waste your time. Um, so if you're not robbing people and you're not addicting them to shit that's bad for them, you are probably making the world a better place.
Hmm.
You know, so just doing shit for the money works out. That's why capitalism has dominated every other system of governance that we've ever seen.
So you're not saying that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin has failed up to this point, but if you,
No, but it succeeded as a store of value. That's
but it
enough. It's
succeeded
worth
as a
more
store
as a
value.
store value.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Can you go
maybe
into that a
Lightning will
little bit?
succeed as a currency, but it will succeed for all the currencies. Lightning works for all the cryptos. It doesn't just work for Bitcoin.
Hmm. So can you go into that a little bit more about the store value is more valuable than a payment network? I know you just touched on it
Sure.
briefly with
Yeah.
the Visa being
Easy. Yeah.
$700 billion, but
So what would you pay more for, a car or to transport the car to you after you bought it? You'll
oh,
always
that,
pay a subset of the value of the thing you're transporting for the
hmm
transport of the thing. So by definition, you're always going to pay less for a payment network than you are for the stuff that you're moving.
hmm
So stores of value, which is the goods that we care about, are always going to be more valuable than transporters of value, because transporters of value and money itself is just a proxy for the actual things that have value, which are goods and services. So only goods and services actually matter. Money and payment networks are just accounting systems and transactional systems that we use to help facilitate the actual goods and services that really matter. So if Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are just a big giant distributed Ponzi scheme that pumps and dumps over and over and over again at larger and larger values until they've onboarded enough users to change the world, that's better. That's fine. There was no other way you were going to get there. How else would you get there? Facebook coin? You think Facebook coin is going to be good to you? You think Facebook coin is going to do you a solid? Facebook hasn't done you a solid. Facebook coin isn't going to do you a solid, right? So, this oscillating speculative bubble may be the only way to onboard the planet onto peer-to-peer digital finance that removes government's power over man to some degree. So,
did you always think this way when you were looking at Bitcoin at $1 and you bought it in at 30? Were you always in this mindset, or was that an evolution throughout looking at this going,
if you want to
this is
make the
never going
world
to happen?
if you want to make the world a better place, do medical research.
Hmm.
Buying crypto and making more money or trading and taking money from other people, you're not making the world a better place. Now, I got a BitMEX link that'll give you 10% discount. If you're going to waste your money and waste your life, go ahead and do it on my referral link. But richardhart.win. If you have the option to do something better with your life and get rich anyway, you should do that. If you're a rich guy and you want to play in startups, do biotech startups.
Hmm.
If you're a rich guy and you want to donate to charity, donate to the Sense Foundation. They might help build the medicine that will save you or your children's life. If you want to actually make the world a better place, what we need is medical research. That's what we need. My grandparents died. I did nothing for them. My parents aren't dead yet, but they probably will die soon, and I haven't done much for them. My dog will die, and then I'll die. And at what point do you realize this money shit, it's not changing that much, right? You're eating the same restaurants, you're watching the same movies. What are you doing with the money? Spend it on the research that'll save your fucking life. That's the next step. Like all this crypto stuff, it's great, but it's not truly saving lives. Medical research will, so that's my next project. That's why that book, the free books I wrote, are called Sci-Vive, like how you can survive through science. Basically tells you how to do everything, how to get rich, how to get laid, how to have fun, how to learn better. Everything that I know, it's in the book. It's free. You just go to t.me/sci-vive and you can download it. Then there's another book I wrote called Fix the World, which is more political stuff that you can't personally do, but matters, right? So systematic stuff, educational system, political system. How can we fix those systems? Most people can't move the levers to fix those things, but someone can. So maybe that knowledge will get to those people.
Tell us about that medical research. Like you said, you want to go and start doing that instead of cryptocurrency, or both at the same time. This is how you're actually going to help people. What is that?
Well, people don't understand. The meaning of life is quality times quantity. You can improve the quality of your life a little bit, but you're the limiting factor. If I gave you a 2 or 3 times better cheeseburger, your taste buds aren't good enough to notice the difference. If I played you a song that's twice as good, there's no such thing, because you're the limiting factor. So we've reached diminishing returns on how good perfumes can smell and how good food can taste. And so if you want to get a 10x higher quality times quantity of life, right, the product of your life, you can't do it with just quality. You need to extend the quality, the quantity, right? So can I get you 10x extra years of healthy life? Yeah, I can. Our science sucks right now, right? But we could get you an extra 200, 400 years of healthy, enjoyable life. And if you got bored with it, you could shoot yourself in the head, right? Now, people think that they're going to get bored, but it's not true because our memories aren't that good, right? We get bored of stuff we remember really well. Your memory ain't that good. What'd you eat for lunch, last Wednesday?
Yeah, who the hell knows?
Got to think about it for a while, right? And is lunch going to taste good tomorrow, even though you've had several thousand lunches? Yep, it is going to taste good tomorrow. So, people believe that. Imagine if like Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison and the greatest researchers and inventors of all time didn't die right when they're at their prime, at their peak, which is the history of science and progress now. As soon as you're the best you've ever been, your brain starts deteriorating and then you fucking die, right? It's terrible. It's a huge waste. So we will inevitably have longer, healthy lifespans. If we cured aging entirely, you'd still die at 600 by accident, right? So you're not going to be immortal. You're still going to die, but you're just going to be really, really healthy until that day that you die. That is going to be the case for mankind at some point in the future. The question is, will it occur before you rot and turn into worm food? Right. Are you going to be the guy that dies right before it gets fixed, right? Because you only need to cure 1 year a year. It's called longevity escape velocity. If you can cure 1 year of damage every year, you're good to go, right? You're going to die by accident and not just decaying and falling apart. It's so stupid that every one of us knows that the Grim Reaper is coming for us, but we just pretend like it's not happening, which is a good strategy before you could do anything about it, right? If you couldn't do anything about it anyway, well, sure, don't think about it. It's a waste of time. But we can do shit about it now. We really can. If we have more money spent on that and less money on F1 racing, more money spent on medical research and less money going to Mars.
How do you think that longevity of life is going to change society? Like if people are living to say 100 or 200 years, it's going to change dramatically. I mean, if a woman has kids in her 30s or 40s, they'll get old. Even having kids is a distant memory. How retirement's going to move back? We're going to just change society. How do you think it's going to?
Well, we've already doubled or tripled lifespans over the last couple hundred years, right? So, how much did that suck? Seems to have worked out pretty well.
Did we really double or triple? Because people were still living to the same age, 80, 90 years old.
I think we get like a year
90.
every 10 years. I think we live like a year longer healthy lifespan every 10 years. So we should have got, over the last 200 years, we should have got about 20 years of extra life. So if we die on average at 80 now, we died probably on average 60 then. And you can look these numbers up, right? If you go back far enough, people just died in their 20s.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But there are the outliers that did live till they're 70, 80, 90.
Right. Let's just assume it all sucks horribly and terribly. It is inevitably going to happen anyway. It is going to happen. So do you want to be around to see how it sucks? Or do you just want to fag out and just die early because you're a pussy? I might not like it. I better die of this sucky thing or whatever. Like it's,
Oh man, I want to live to as long as I can.
yeah, health span, right? How
Yeah, man.
long can you be healthy? If it sucks, call it quits.
This has nothing to do with blockchain or Bitcoin, but I want to bring it back to blockchain because we kept on talking about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is failed as a currency. Do you have the same ideas about or these blockchain startups as well? Is
They're
blockchain just
worse. They're far
they're the
worse.
worst?
So
Oh, please.
cryptocurrencies have a reason to use a blockchain.
Okay.
A blockchain is an extremely bad database. Sometimes you can't write to it. Sometimes what you write to it gets forked off and disappears. It's extremely slow. Bitcoin does 3 or 4 transactions a second. It's extremely expensive. It's extremely wasteful. If you want the slowest, shittiest database in the world, use a blockchain. Now, who are the only people in the world that benefit from using such a terrible system? People that need censorship resistance. If people are trying to censor your transactions, blockchain is amazing. It's the only thing we got. It works. It's been working for 10 years with 99+% uptime. Try doing that with anything else. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
So all these startups that do digital ledger technology, they do not and should not be using a blockchain because no one is trying to censor their transactions. So if you want to take an engineer's perspective on this, the National Institute of Standards in the United States, NIST, created a document on blockchain that has a flowchart on it. And it says, do you need this? 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 And it gives you all of your options, right? And then finally, after all those, it has blockchain. So you only need a blockchain if you don't have anyone that you both trust. If you both have someone you trust, you can just trust that guy. You need immutability, and it just goes through the whole list, right? So if your project needs censorship resistance, use a blockchain. If it doesn't, which the vast majority do not, it's the worst product in the world to add to your thing. Like, it's horrible.
So what I'm hearing from all the hodlers out there, if you're going to invest in a blockchain startup, an ICO or a cryptocurrency, you're just going to go in there for your 10x and get out. You don't be in there for the tech, don't be in there for the startup, don't be in there for the future. Make the money, get out, go to something else, and then get into the medical field.
Or just do a better thing to start, right? So, like, take the project that I'm doing. Bitcoin, you can send coins and you can mine it. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't earn interest on it. If you want to earn interest, you've got to trust your coins to a third party, and they lose them or steal them, right? So you want to loan out your coins to make a little interest to people that want to short, right? They want to short, they need to borrow coins to do it. You loan them your coins, right? You make 10, 20% a year. Oh, exchange got hacked, you lost all your money. Bet you regret trying to make that 10% now, right?
Right.
Oh, maybe I'll sell my Bitcoin to buy mining hardware, and then maybe my mining hardware will get here on time, and maybe the hash rate hasn't gone too high, and maybe my house doesn't catch on fire, and maybe I'm profitable, or, oh, the market crashed, and you can't get out. All you've got is pre-depreciated equipment and signed contracts with, facilities. You're fucked, right? So if you're given programmable money, the first program that you should design is interest. There is no other coin that I am aware of that pays you longer for locking your coins longer. There is no coin that I'm aware of that when you lock, you need to stay locked, you're going to pay a big penalty. Those two things mirror the real world. In the real world, we have money, which is nice, but it doesn't do everything. So we also have savings accounts and time deposits and CDs, right? So crypto and Bitcoin did the currency well. Awesome. But it didn't do finance well. It didn't do exchanges well, which is why we have exchanges that are worth billions of dollars, because crypto couldn't do it. They had to do it, right?
Right.
So someone had to build the peer-to-peer trustless interest-bearing time deposit. I built it. No one else did. Okay. Well, I
we're talking
built
about BitcoinHex.
Yeah, right. So
All right.
BitcoinHex is an extremely useful thing that someone had to build, so I built it. It's obvious, right? It's a no-brainer. What products does a bank have? Okay, you don't like banks, you want to get rid of banks? What products do they have? And can you develop in a peer-to-peer manner a way to replace this? It's that simple. Bitcoin did currency. I did savings accounts, but truthfully, it also does higher throughput and lower fees. So it will do currency better too.
Tell us a little bit more about Bitcoin Hex. Why the name Bitcoin Hex? It's an ERC20. Is that correct?
Yep.
Tell us about the not only the inspiration of making it, what it's going to do. On the website, it says, claim your free Bitcoin Hex and change the world.
Yep.
People want to change the world with it. Just tell us about the whole motivation behind it, the naming, the branding, and the future.
Sure. So if you're going to start a new cryptocurrency, who are the best users to onboard? The ones that have been around the longest and that are the richest, right? Because, hey, maybe they'll buy more tokens. Maybe they'll advertise at good places. Maybe they'll help it get listed on nice exchanges, right? So if you're going to onboard users of crypto as your first set of users to help prime the pump and spread the word, there's no better users than Bitcoin users, right? They've held through the most dumps. They've got 4 times the market cap of the next guys. It's a really good user base, and I've got a bunch of Bitcoin. So hey, why not pump my own bags with some more free coins, right? So if you're gonna start a new currency, you're gonna want to airdrop Bitcoin holders or have Bitcoin holders in there, which is the reason. Let me give you a list of the top 10 currencies that have also given free crypto to Bitcoin holders. Bitcoin Cash gave free crypto to Bitcoin holders. XRP gave free crypto to Bitcoin holders and anyone else that gave their email address. Lumens gave free crypto to Bitcoin holders. You had to sign proof that you had coins. Those are all top 10 cryptos, right? And then Bitcoin SV was given to Bitcoin Cash, which came from Bitcoin. So in effect, you have 5 or 4 currencies in the top 10 that are given for free to Bitcoin holders. So this concept that like, oh man, you shouldn't use Bitcoin as the name because we don't want a 4th Bitcoin in the top 10. Stupid, right? So like, is Linux Mint and Fedora Linux and Red Hat Linux all scams because they all use the Linux name? No, they're called Linux because they're forks of Linux, and it's useful to know that. So is it useful to know that a fork of Bitcoin is a fork of Bitcoin and therefore has Bitcoin in the name? Yeah. Is there brand confusion? Only if you add it. If you add some marketing to your website that says real Bitcoin is fake and our fake Bitcoin's actually the real one, well, then you're an asshole, right? And that's the problem. Like, the name is not the problem. The problem is the misleading marketing.
Right.
So now that being said, I'm happy to pivot to a better hex name as soon as I find one. I've tried. I've had votes, and I've tried to pivot to Strape, Hex Trust, Trustless Interest, Scarcity Coin. Nobody likes the names. They like Bitcoin Hex better. So until I find a better name, I'm stuck with it. I plan on having a higher market cap than Bitcoin itself, and it will be a lot easier to do that without Bitcoin in the name.
So tell us how to claim your free Bitcoin Hex then.
Well, right now you can't, but in 8 weeks you should be able to, and you should be able to fool around with a demo claim tool on a testnet in about 6 weeks. So all you do is you have some Bitcoin in a wallet at the snapshot, right? A block height. At that date, at that time, at that block height, we take a snapshot of the network. Whoever had coins then is eligible to get free Bitcoin Hex. As long as your coins are in a normal address, normal SegWit normal address, no multi-sig or weird scripts or anything like that, then you just go to the website, claim.bitcoinhex.com, which isn't up yet, right? But it will be. You go to the site, you paste your Bitcoin address. You're worried about anonymity and security? Use a proxy, use Tor, use a computer at the library, I don't care. So you just paste your Bitcoin address in there and you tell it you want to claim. It goes through and makes you a little statement. You copy that statement to your Bitcoin wallet. You click sign. You copy the output back. You click submit. You're done. So that's basically put your address in, copy, paste, done. That's it. Now you do have to have a Bitcoin wallet that can make signatures. Most of them can. So Ledger, Trezor, Coinomi, Electrum, Bitcoin Core for anything except BEC32 addresses, which no one uses. And that's it.
So what is Bitcoin Hex designed to do? I guess you're going to claim it. You're just going to make interest, money. This is what it's for, or is there any
it's designed
utility
to
of it?
appreciate in price. That's its sole goal, is to become as expensive as possible. Yeah. So here's how it does that. price
how's
is
it going to do that without a utility? I guess that people are looking at like for Bitcoin, they say adoption
utility.
is going to be the utility.
Yeah. People only buy crypto because the price is going to go up. That's the utility. There ain't no other utility. Go look at the top 10. Tell me the utility. There ain't none, right? So being a store of value is enough. Having something that just goes up in price is enough. Doesn't need to do other stuff. That's more than enough. And it's been more than enough for everything else in the list, right? So how do you get price to go up? Well, you can increase demand or you can reduce supply. That's it. So how do we increase demand? Well, we could do a lot of advertising, but I can't tell you about that because the Howey test. The Howey test says that you're a security and have to follow securities laws if you have people giving money to a common pool with the expectation of profit from the work of others. So I like to fail all of those tests, right? You're not giving me any money. There ain't no common pool. I promise you nothing. No work at all. Contract's there. It works. Use it if you want. Have fun, right? No securities problems. So that's how you could increase demand, is through advertising, right? Now, how do you decrease supply? By getting people to lock up their coins and take them off the market. Okay, well, how do you convince them to do that? By paying them interest. Well, that's pretty easy. That's what they do in the real world. You go to the bank and you're like, hey, I want interest. They're like, okay. Get a savings account. You're like, oh, those rates suck. You want higher rates? Lock it for a longer time. We pay you more. Oh, it already works in the real world. There's already $600 billion of CDs in the United States. 571 last I checked. And that's not even the CDs over $100,000, which are called jumbo CDs. I don't know why it's so hard to find a measurement on those. I haven't found one yet. But that's a $600 billion market just in America. And the ratios seem to be the same in other countries, right? Does Bitcoin address that market, that $600 billion market? No. Well, why not? Because whoever designed it didn't have the 10 years of learning that we've had. You know, it was the first of its kind. In 10 years, we figured some stuff out. Well, I would much rather people stake their coins than buy mining hardware. When people buy mining hardware, it just increases the pollution, increases the electric bills, and then they sell more coins in the market to pay for it. So more miners equals lower Bitcoin price. More people staking equals higher BitcoinHex price. Self-empowering, right? People stake, price goes up. They FOMO, they stake, price goes up more. Less supply, it just keeps going. There's no canceling it out with having to sell coins to pay electric bills to pollute the environment, right?
So you got your test coming out in 6 weeks. 8 weeks, people can claim this BitcoinHex.
Be,
if they want to make this money, if they want to just get into a Bitcoin that's just going to go up in value because of the things that you just said.
Well, no, it could go down. It depends on what. If everyone drives the price to retard levels, then it can dip, right? Like dips are not illegal.
What is retard levels?
It's designed to pump, but that don't mean that it pumps in a fucking 45-degree angle with no variations.
So how do they know when this is ready to go? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, well, go to the site and put your email in there, and go to the chat room. So we got 1,400 people in the chat room right now, just talking about BitcoinHex. There's about 150 live all the time. T.me/BitcoinHex. Go to my Twitter, twitter.com/Richard Hart, win, Richard Hart, WIN. Go to my YouTube, Richard Hart on YouTube, youtube.com/Richard Hart. And yeah, you're going to know when it comes out. I mean, look, you should be in the chat room and reading the website now, because there's so much cool game theory in this that it's going to take you a week to understand it. It's much more complicated and interesting than crypto. In crypto, you have, is the price up or is the price down? And that's all you got. In this, you got, if you claim the first week, you get 20% bonus. If you refer somebody, you get 20% of their stack. If you refer yourself, you get 20% on your own stack. If you stake your coins, you get coins that didn't get claimed, like Satoshi's coins, and you get interest, and you get critical mass and virality bonus, which inflates the currency to early stakers as more and larger claims come after them. So everyone has a reason to spread the word. And you have two other revenue sources as a staker on top of the interest. If people emergency end their stake, you get half their penalty, and their penalty is half their interest. So like if you staked for 50 years and you got 20% extra bonus shares for each year, so you get like 10x your shares. So in normal CDs, you get paid more for staking longer, about 20% per year. I just copied that behavior for this system. So if you stake for a year instead of 7 days, you're going to get an extra 20%. If you do that for 50 years, well, now you're up 10x, right? So you've got 10x the shares that you would otherwise have. If you instantly end your stake, I think it zeroes your account and you'll lose all of your money. And that money will be given to the people that didn't unstake, right?
Right.
So if you take a bunch of bonus shares by staking a longer time and reduce everyone else's payouts, you better do what you said you were going to do, or you're going to pay a penalty, right?
Right.
So unlike other systems that pay interest, like proof of stake or masternodes, where you can just dump whenever you want. Oh, China's going to ban it. Oh, dump it, right? In this system, when you're in, you're in. Just like the real world, right?
Right.
Oh, you want to cancel your CD? You pay half of the interest that you were going to get, and then it's a 3-month minimum on all the CDs that I've looked at. They give you a better deal on the like 5-year and up. Maybe 3 to 5 year, you get, a little bit of a discount. It's not 50%, maybe it's 25 or 30%. So there's a lot of game theory going on here. Like, how are you going to stake your coins? Are you going to get Bitcoin before the snapshot to get free coins? Are you going to just buy it when it gets market? Are you going to stake? The most common one I've heard is you take 20% of your stack, stake it for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. You want to be in for the first 50 weeks because that's when the huge, huge bonuses happen, right? I don't think Satoshi's going to claim. You want his coins? You can have them. Just stake, right?
Right on, right on. What do you think of the space these days, man? Like, look, I'm honestly a little bit pissed off with the whole space in general. But by the way, thank you for telling me about BitcoinHex. Thank you for telling the listeners about BitcoinHex and all of that. I know it's a lot to go into. I'm trying to still keep this a 40-minute conversation for
Good
the
luck.
podcast. Yeah, but the space has been interesting lately, man. There's been hacks. Two exchanges been hacked in the beginning of 2019: Cryptopia and Quadriga. Well, Quadriga said they lost their keys, which is absolute bullshit. What is your take on those two exchanges?
So one of them was a hack. One of them was just bad operations. So the
Do you believe
Cryptopia,
it was bad operations? Do you think there is a bad actor involved?
well, both. They're not mutually exclusive.
True.
So, but apparently, a lot of those cold wallets have been sending money around. Apparently, lost their keys. The keys weren't lost, right? So whether it's straight up embezzlement or an actual loss of funds, that all comes down to bad operational practice, right? Users shouldn't be using exchange that is uninsured. If an exchange is insured, the insurance company should verify that their cold wallet is indeed cold, or else they're insuring something that shouldn't be insured, right? So if you have your coins on an exchange, you're going to lose them. At some point, the exchange is going to get hacked, and you're going to lose your funds. Wouldn't it be nice if there was some other way to make money by just locking your money in a smart contract that was trustless and not having to send it to an exchange? Boy, wouldn't that be cool? You could call it trustlessinterest.com. Go there. I own that. Yeah, so the Cryptopia hack was different in that the hacker apparently took control of their cold wallet and hot wallet and then deleted their access to it. So he didn't even have to sweep the funds. So their wallets are still receiving money and the hacker's still keeping it all. I have no idea, absolutely no idea, how the operator of an exchange could not have a copy of his own seed words somewhere. It is unfathomable to me. So I guess we've seen it before. I guess MtGox was as bad with a fake cold wallet that just lost all the coins. Hey, our cold wallet's actually accessible to the internet. I lost all the coins, right? So yeah, like computer security is very hard. And when you've got bearer bond crypto cash that you can just steal and keep all your gains, it's pretty tasty for insiders that want to steal it all. So if the hackers don't get it, then you get exit scammed by a fake hack by an insider, right? Don't leave your money on exchange if you don't have to. That's why if you do have to, like let's say you wanted to hedge against the Bitcoin price going down some more. You could open up a margin short on BitMEX, richardhart.win, if you want 10% off. And then you don't have to send as much money to the exchange. So you could send half your stack there and open up a 2x leverage short, which would hedge your whole position into effective pseudo cash. But if they went out of business and lost all the coins, you didn't lose all your coins because you used leverage to reduce the amount of coins that you had exposed to the exchange, right? Now, the only downside to doing that is if the price pumps 100%, your position gets closed, and then if it redumps, you're going to be sad having bought the top, right? So you do have to keep an eye on it a little bit. But that may be a much better tax situation for you than, it may be better for you to hold coin and hedge it using the futures, which are tax advantaged in a lot of jurisdictions, than it would be to like sell for cash, right? Oh, I'm talking to myself. Lol. Matthew's internet probably just dropped. Guess what, chat? It's your lucky day. I get to read your terrible questions now. Let's see what we've got in here. I'm just going to scroll to the bottom because this is all comments. So maybe you guys have questions. There's about a 15-second lag between when I talk and when they see it. So I'm just going to tell you guys, go to BitcoinHex chat room, t.me/BitcoinHex. Go to my Twitter, twitter.com/RichardHartWin. You want my free books? Download them, t.me/Scivive. You want to trade BitMEX and get wrecked? Get wrecked on my referral link. You get 10% off. What is it? RichardHart.win. You want to sell for pounds or euros? Go to mocoiner.com. Forwards you to Binance Gibraltar, I think. What other stuff should you guys do? Go on BitcoinHex.com, read it all, read the FAQ. I gotta memorize all this stuff. There's so many things. Hex, show links, free book. I think that's it. Hey, he's back.
The network completely dropped.
It's a conspiracy, man. The Illuminati caught onto us, man.
Awesome. Right when we start talking about exchanges.
We're still streaming, by the way. We're still live on my end. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a good thing you're wearing clothes still.
Yeah. So, fuck, what were we talking about? Man, that's annoying.
You can rip the audio off my end, so you'll still have the full audio stream. I think his network dropped again.
Your listeners for the live stream, they're sitting there watching, and then all of a sudden, boom, done.
You only dropped for like a minute and a half, man. It's fine.
All right, cool, man. So anyway, you were talking about.
So we left off about using leverage to reduce your exchange exposure, your counterparty risk.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but even better than that is trustless interest with virtual mining, with staking, with BitcoinHex. Please, developers, finish the coin. Pretty please. Pretty please.
What is it, in limbo or something right now?
No, it's just hard, dude. Everything in crypto is hard. So hard. It's insane. Let me give you a sample of how hard it is, right?
Please.
You know how you have a Bitcoin address? Well, your Bitcoin address just actually represents some private key. Mm-hmm. And you can also represent that same private key with different address formats.
Right.
So in the beginning, there was no addresses. There was pay to IP. Then they got rid of that. And there was pay to public key, which isn't an address either. And then they made addresses, which were hashes of public keys. And then they made script hash, which means you can pay to like some logic that processes like multisig. Like if this guy and this guy and this guy says yes, then pay. Or if this amount of time has passed, then pay, right? So that's pay to script. And then they decided they want to save some space, so they invented segregated witness, which moved some things over into this and some things over into that. And then your pay to witness public key hash gets wrapped in a pay to script hash. As you iterate through this suck as a developer, it begins to get really hard. you're like, man, what address formats do we even support anymore? How many are there? Like, everything in crypto is hard, dude.
I'm letting you keep going with this because somebody's understanding this shit. I'm already
Yeah.
done. I tuned out a little bit ago, bro.
Right. So your Bitcoin address, like, it's everything in crypto is really, really, really hard. And when you do something that's never been done before, it's a little bit harder.
But,
So my guys are doing a really good job. It's just, it takes time.
It takes a long time, and everything takes a long time. But yeah, my original question was the space, the exchanges, the scams, the irresponsibility. Look,
it's always been like this. As a matter of fact, it's probably the least shitty it's ever been, truthfully. If you want a good counterparty, go buy and sell your Bitcoin on CME, the largest market in the world. Okay? You didn't have that fucking option 2 years ago, right? It's brand new, man. So it is the best it's ever been. It just, it's always kind of sucky because there's so many crappy companies in the space, like there's crappy companies in every space, bro. Like,
are you for regulation? People coming in here and just taking these crappy companies out before they fuck people over, or?
No, please. I mean,
there has to be a balance though, right? I mean, do people just keep getting fucked, or do we come in there with something and something to say, hey, shitty exchange, let's shut you down for a little bit until we figure out if you're doing things properly?
It's hard to argue against that point, yeah. Look, I think the SEC does the best job that they can in trying to help people stay unfucked, and people still get fucked, So it's hard to say, man. I mean, let me put it this way. It's good and bad, okay? Here's why. The New York license, everyone hated it, right? Why? They're coming to regulate crypto. But what did the New York license give us? It gave us Coinbase, and it gave Coinbase a bank account, and it let Coinbase use that bank account to onboard millions of users. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have done that without that regulatory certainty that the New York license gave them. So for onboarding shitloads of users and for turning Coinbase into a billion-dollar company, the New York license was awesome.
Right.
Now, here's the caveat. If we lived in a more efficient world where startups were funded and where it didn't cost $1 million or $2 million to get licensed as a money transmitter in every state that you need the licensing, which is maybe 26 states or something like that, then in that world, the regulation would be unnecessary because competition would exist and people would just use better companies. It's a libertarian fucking dream, the libertarian fantasy that so very, very, very rarely comes true. So in fact, the good free markets that we have are free because they are regulated. And when a market is no longer regulated, it is no longer free because it will succumb to collusion and price fixing and vertical integration to where you only have one choice. Like, how many cable service providers can you choose from? How many internet service providers can you choose from? So good regulation is far, far, far better than unregulated capitalism. Mm-hmm. People just don't know that because they don't remember how shitty unregulated capitalism was. It was fucking bad, right? So, I mean, I don't like the concept that crypto might have slower onboarding because there's less exchanges, because less people can afford to get signed up, because there's more regulatory overhead. But I'm also not excited about people getting yanked for their whole stack when the exchange gets wrecked. Right. So it's like, I think short-term regulation would hurt adoption, but long-term would help it.
Hey, so speaking of unfucking, what do you think of this whole Brock Pierce, MtGox Rising thing that's going on? I don't know much about it. I'm going to chat with him about it here, actually this afternoon. But what's your idea on trying to unfuck the MtGox situation?
Well, MtGox is under receivership. It's technically owned by the Japanese government. And one of the claimants to MtGox, which would be Tibane Limited, which was Karpeles's company, is also under receivership. Mm-hmm. So,
there's nothing to unfuck.
How are you going to give the money that's already been taken by the government to some other new entity to hand it out differently? Like, really, so basically, I'm not an expert on Pierce's position, but I think his position is Karpalus sucks, so let's get him as far away as possible. I think everyone agrees with that position. And I think Karpalus's position is also accurate in that he's already as far away from possible and everything's already under receivership. So, and like, it's just smack talk from the other guy. Like, and I heard something about a letter of intent to acquire. Letter of intents aren't legally binding. They don't mean shit.
Right.
Like, so what, right? And it's totally unprofessional on both of their sides. As a person that curses like a sailor, I know not to talk about very multi-million-dollar litigative concepts with counterparties over Twitter, not through counsel. Like, what? You guys are so dumb. So that's not something that should have even been on Twitter. From my perspective, I would prefer to see the coins not market dumped anymore. Please, God damn it. And I actually, in my coin, have a system called Gox Me Not, which removes the MtGox coins from being able to claim. So they can't claim. So they can't dump on our head. So the smart people in Bitcoin Cash gave 200,000 Bitcoin Cash to the MtGox trustee to dump on their heads. So he did. Now, was it smart to give the MtGox trustee free money? No, but that fork wasn't done by smart people. So I'm doing it right. They didn't do it right. By the way, Roger Ver and I had a disagreement about, a year or two ago about how good an idea Bitcoin Cash was. I was right and he was wrong. Now he's lost millions and millions and millions of dollars by not taking my advice. So.
And that video is on your YouTube channel. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. Correct. Well, I think people are going to go check it out. Look, Crypto 101 is the 101. This is what I like doing is I like sitting down with people that are much smarter than me, like you, people that's been in the space, and just listen to you guys talk. Just listen to, pick your brain a little bit, hear your opinions, see what you're doing in the space. And then my listeners, they listen to you too. What would you tell these 101 people, the new people in the space, the people that maybe bought in at 20,000 or the people that are getting in right now that are coming into the cryptocurrency space? What would your advice be to them?
The bull run will happen again. The most gains you'll ever make are on a coin you got for free. If you can find free money, claim it. Try not to sell the bottom. If you're in a crap coin or a shit coin, there may not be a bottom. It might actually go to zero and not come back. If you're in a good coin, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, blue chip of the crypto space, all down 85, 95%. Don't sell the bottom. Technically, Bitcoin has got 3 levels I'm looking at underneath where we are now. This last 10% pump did not impress me whatsoever.
Right.
So, our low was like 31.10, and we pumped to we're currently 15% over that maybe. So you're 15% over your 365-day low. Wow, so bullish. And the 200-day moving average is up at 6,200. And you're you're doubling away from that, right? So your 50 to 200 golden cross is going to be a long way away. I don't think that the bear market's over. I think we have another 6 months of this shit to chop around, and then the bear market will be over. That's my guess. That's the fractal of what happened last time. So I'm going to give you the numbers that are underneath this. We've got a fractal just means a repeat. We could repeat the 86% drop of the last bear, which will bring us down to the 2800s. Or we could repeat revisiting the peak of the last bubble, which would be 1175. Or we could dump under that the 30% that we did on our last revisit, and that gets us down to around 800. So I'm happy to just hit 28. Or if we got to do 1175, fine, whatever, right? That's fine. Okay, I don't care. So that we're a lot closer to the bottom than we are from the top. So there's a lot of money that'll be made buying the bottom of the bull, buying the bottom of the bear that turns into the bull, right? A lot of money will be made then.
You've always prided yourself on your price predictions. So where do you think we're going to be going in the next bull?
Well, it's taking us longer to get higher because our economic mass keeps increasing. So we didn't get as high a multiple from the last bear this time as we did last time. So basically the chart looks like, why don't we do it backwards from your guys' side? So we went really high and then dumped and then went a little bit less high and then dumped longer and a little bit less high. And they get longer, but we keep going higher.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a bear for longer and then we did a bull for longer. So this could take 6 to 8 months to a year to resolve if it repeats the same type of slightly longer time frame. But in Bitcoin, we also have that 4-year halvening where the supply drops in half every 4 years.
Right.
And that's coming up, soonish. So we might be able to not elongate much more than we already are. It's a possibility as far as our cyclical pump and dumping. We like to pump and dump ever higher. Like so we're crying about $3,000 Bitcoin now, but if I told you 2 years ago about 3,000 of Bitcoin,
oh yeah,
when we were at 700 or 800, you'd be like, "Holy shit, man, gonna get my 4x." Yeah.
So give us a number. What are you thinking?
What time frame?
2 years from now. Next bull peak.
Oh, next bull peak. I don't know. Let's grab a 7x. Pull that number out of my ass. I'd really wish to have a chart in front of me right now. But without a chart in front of me, let's go 7x on 20K. Let's go 150K.
Wow. Yeah. You think so?
Sure. Why not? We have no users. We got to 20K and no users. We can get to 150K and no users. There's no adoption and there's no users and we did 20K. So let's, maybe get one okay app that has a tiny little bit of adoption.
With 150K Bitcoin, sure. What do you think about BitcoinHex would be at?
The supply is a lot higher. So the supply of Bitcoin is 17.5 million right now. And depending on how many bonuses are given out, we wanted to target a supply higher than XRP and Ripple, which are $100 billion tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So we targeted 300 billion. Now the new coin that came out from the BitTorrent people targeted 990 billion. Bold move. I could always switch to 30K BitcoinHex per BTC claim and kind of be in the same range as them. It just moves your minimum price up on exchange by triple. So right now, one Satoshi price on exchange with 50% of the coin locked puts us, I think, at 30 million valuation market cap. And then if we moved it up to 30,000 BitcoinHex, our one Satoshi trade price, which is minimum on most exchanges, nearly all exchanges. I'm unaware of an exchange where that's not the minimum. Then that would be 90 mil minimum market cap, which is high in the bear. And it gives you no resolution under that. So, you could just drop your claim. You could lower your ratio and then that just moves up where your trade price is. I'm probably in my head, I see charts, right? But I know the listeners aren't seeing them. So if I change the ratio of BitcoinHex to Bitcoin claims, then it would increase or decrease the total supply, which would increase or decrease the market cap at the minimum price. So I'm 15% to change it to 30,000 just to kind of target that 900 billion, but I'm totally cool with where it's at now at 300 billion. So you asked for price per coin. I don't know. Let's take the market cap of Bitcoin now for giggles and then divide it by 300 billion. And then that would be your price.
Whoever's got a calculator at home or listening to this, you guys can do that yourself. We're not going to do that right
Well,
now.
I mean, in theory, it should be 1/10,000th, right? Because the ratios, I don't know. It should be around 1/30,000th of a Bitcoin. So that would be like 3,000 divided by 30,000. So that should be like, 10 cents or a penny, something like that. Be easier if I had a calculator.
Yeah, it would be. Richard Hart, before I ask you this last question, I want to say first, thanks for just wrapping out. Thank you for waiting for me to come back up online when my internet went out. I appreciate that. Thanks for just spitting some wisdom. Thanks for your realism when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I do like alternative positions from most people that we have on the show. I think that's amazing when you are able to put out different opinions and allow listeners to have just more information. and that more information is going to give them, more information to make wiser decisions in the future about these investments that they're making. So I appreciate that, sir.
Thank
And
you, man.
I appreciate the 55 minutes of your time, man.
Well, I try and avoid all these things, which is why I don't ask anyone to do interviews. Once the token is on an exchange, I'll probably do a lot more interviews. Right now, I'm like focused on finishing the white paper and helping my devs in any way that I can, and doing like outreach to users and really troubleshooting a lot of people, helping them learn how to sign statements from their wallets and stuff. It is nice to take a break from that work and talk to people. So I'm not
Right on,
getting
man.
a lot of the old social interaction. I'm kind of waking up, working until I can't stay awake anymore, and then going to sleep, and then just doing a lot of that,
Well, I'm happy to be your social interaction. Two questions before we go off today. First of all, are those real candles over there?
They
Those
are, but I can't light
Yeah?
them because they drip backwards now. So candles aren't meant to be lit in this format. They
No,
just,
why are they like that then, man?
a drunk girl knocked it off of the pedestal. I used to have this in my foyer, and a drunk girl knocked it over, and then
So what,
now
do you got
it's
it
like
propped up
bent.
on something over there? What the
I'll show
I
you.
know
So these are supposed to be a lot more forward, and I've
right.
put a piece of metal behind it, but I kind of need to weld it, and I don't feel like buying another oxyacetylene kit, and I'm not even sure how well this brass is going to take it, because I don't know. I'm used to doing HVAC, like soldering copper tubing, and I'm not used to this. It's actually, when you start trying to weld heavy stuff like this, the heat transfers everywhere and starts melting the clamps that you use to hold it together.
All
So
right. So
welding
I was
is
always thinking
hard.
that was a plastic prop, dude.
Oh no, this is a real big ass metal thing. It could hurt you if it fell on you.
Right on, right
Marble
on.
and brass.
That's
You can buy them
last
on
question,
eBay,
though.
dude. They're probably just a few grand.
I love it, dude. I love it in your house, man. But that's not.
Just go to a gay person's house, dude. Every gay person's house is filled with shit like this.
Yeah.
Gold, ornate, baroque. I love that stuff because it's royal. Like if you go to any castle or any presidential suite or office or palace, that's what they look like.
Okay.
The only place that doesn't look like that I know of is like the White House.
Man,
It's
I thought
pretty
this was gonna
boring
be my
looking.
last question, man. All right, so then tell me what's up with the royal, the jackets that you wear, the patterns, everything.
It's
Is you're just
signaling.
feeling it?
It's signaling. So I
Yeah.
used to have bad fashion sense, and then I
Oh,
learned
like
about
create a
fashion.
t-shirt. That's what you're trying to say. I got you.
Well, I just knew I was going to sweat after 4 live streams in a row.
Okay.
So if you want, they tell you to dress for the job you want, not the job that you have, right? So if
Hmm.
someone meets you, they don't know shit about you. They just know what you look like and your posture and your facial expression. So if you have good posture, good facial expression, and good fashion sense, you're going to be attractive. And attraction is not a choice. They will feel attracted to you. They will physically move closer to you and buy you shit and be nice to you and listen to you because you are attractive, right?
Right.
So, if you don't have good fashion sense, the people, you're fucking over everyone. Everyone else has to look at your ugly ass. And you're no fun to look at if you ain't dressed nice, right? And you're going to be treated more poorly, and you're going to be paid less at your job, and no one's going to want to hang out with you. So why not just learn about color coord? You don't even have to learn anything. Just when you go to a store, buy what's on the mannequin. That's all you have to do. There's already a stylist at the store that has decided what to put on the mannequin. Their head isn't up their ass. Just buy what's on the mannequin so everyone else doesn't hate looking at you, pretty much. Then if you get really smart and you want to get creative, you can push the edges and, do fancier stuff, which is what I'm used to doing. So it's
So what are you signaling when you got a
wealth,
velvet
power,
jacket on?
creativity, um, awareness. It's people that are good at one thing tend to be good at other things. So if you
Hmm.
can display excellence in some area, then people will assume that you're excellent in other areas, and they're usually right. So, and it's a hobby like anything else, right? Like I got outfits to match keyboard key sets I have. I've got, why not, dude? I'm ancient. I'm like 1,000,000 years old. So I've done all the hobbies, right? I've done photography. I've done weightlifting. I've done shooting guns. I've done a million different hobbies. It just happened to rotate into my hobbies list.
Oh shit! By the way, you've been hitting the gym hard lately, no?
Yeah, dude. So much that I fuck my elbows up. I have tennis elbow now, and I have to hope that it goes away. So I'm on my second week. It doesn't hurt. It hurts. It hurts right here, and it's
Right.
on both arms. So I overtrained, You know,
And are you taking anything for your joints? I just fucked
I
up
take
my the other day.
I take omega-3 fatty acids,
Okay.
something called Udo's oil. It's an omega-3, omega-6 blend.
Mm-hmm.
Makes your skin work great. It's one of the only supplements that's proven to actually work, right? Omega-3s. Good for your skin, good for reducing inflammation, should be good for the
Right.
joints, especially if you're weightlifting. And it's good for your heart, lowers your LDL, raises your HDL, so you get less heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good. And if I don't take that, I get acne. So it's like super easy. Like if I start getting red dots, I'm like, ah, shit, I haven't been taking the pills. Then you take it, 2 weeks later, they disappear.
So I saw 2 weeks ago, man. You killed those pull-ups on Twitter. You posted the video.
Dude,
So good job, bro.
I'm lifting as heavy, like the strongest I ever been. But the injuries got me fucked up. Now I am being lazy. I know that I could rotate some other exercise in there that's not arms, right? Like I could be doing abs and calves and whatever else, but I'm just being lazy about it. I need to do something. I wish. It sucks that this is the kind of injury where you can't fuck with it. Like if you fuck with it, you can end up with a lifelong problem that never goes away.
It's
I'm
old
not
people
for
shit.
that. Thanks, man.
It's
I never considered myself an old fuck until now.
Well, it is true, man. Look, I'm 40. I'm getting joints and shit
You
like
look
that. I
like
don't know
you're
how old you are.
18. What the
Look,
fuck? What do you
well,
eat?
thank you, man. Well, see,
How,
it's fish
how
oils,
are
man.
you 40?
Huh?
Jeez, I'm getting on your diet, dude. Are you like bleeding young
Beer, fish
people?
oils, and no meat. There you
Oh,
go.
so you do fish oil. All right.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice, dude.
yeah, man. I'm with you with that.
Yeah, if you want to know whether a supplement works or not, you just go to examine.com. It's free, and they go through all of the research, and they tell you, here's what works, here's what doesn't, here's the research papers as to why, here's the degree of certainty of confidence we have in these statements, and they do it for everything, right?
Mm.
So they'll tell you what works and what doesn't, and it's a really, really great resource, and it's free.
Brother, last question I have for you before you go, man. Give me a couple songs for the Crypto 101 Spotify playlist, man. What is Richard Hart listening to? What are you jamming out when you're
So
writing that white paper?
usually I'm a drum and bass guy. So when I'm actually writing the white paper, I'll
I
turn on.
totally didn't expect that.
Yeah, I know it's weird. I've just like I've cycled through a lot of hobbies. I've cycled through a lot of music loves, right? So I like classical, I like rock and roll, and I like drum and bass most. So like if you like drum and bass, Wilkinson has a bunch of really great songs. If you like neurofunk, Kamal and Rob Data, Audio has an album called Audio, which is pretty insane. Then and if you're into just like kind of indie rock and roll electronic rock stuff, there's a song called The Less I Know the Better by something Panther, or can't remember the name of the band, but the video to it is amazing. Like it was nominated for an award. I've seen this video so many times, and each time I watch it I notice something new. I'm gonna pull this up for you real quick actually.
Yeah, man. Pull it up.
Tame Impala, The Less I Know the Better. That video is so goddamn good. It is fabulous, and the song is really good. Yeah.
Yes, I know the better. There it
Yeah.
is.
So if
Boom.
you want that like 2 hour long track that just that you can work to, let me look it up. So if you just Google neurofunk,
Neurofunk.
yeah,
All right.
one of those 2 hour long mixes should keep you in the work mode.
Fun. Thank you
That's
very
it.
much. Appreciate that.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, Richard Hart.
I'm happy to do this
I have
anytime you
I have
want.
to end this properly for the show. Hold on.
All right,
Not the live stream.
I'm ready.
Richard Hart, entrepreneur, Bitcoin holder, founder of BitcoinHex. Thank you for coming on Crypto 101, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it. You make not eating meat look good.
Hey, are you you're one of those rare steak guys, aren't you?
I eat as much steak as possible. It tastes goddamn delicious. I'm addicted to it. I don't even fuck with chicken. Chicken's not even in my sights, dude. Chicken's pussy food. I want basically all I eat is filet mignon, like constantly. I'm trying to figure out better ways to make it. It's really hard to get it consistent.
Yeah, how do you do it?
Well, right now I got an infrared thermometer, and I was bringing it up to 350 so that the oils don't hit their smoke point, because butter has a smoke point around 360. And now I just don't use butter at all, and just let it get a good sear first.
Yeah.
and then I'll turn down the heat because like the meat, if you get boiling, like if you get a liquid kind of boil, ruins the meat. So you need the sear to get the fats to turn into sugars by the Maillard reaction on the outside.
Is that a cast iron sear or?
It's just induction, so it's I guess it's cast iron, but it's not thick enough to matter, right? Like cast iron's good because it holds heat for a long time. So it is iron, but it's not very thick. So if if you turn off the heat, you're gonna lose the heat out of the pan pretty quick. So you get your sear, and then don't let the whatever additives in there get to their smoke point, and then you can flip it as many times as you want. It doesn't matter. You can cut it, detect the temperature. It doesn't matter. I should get an internal meat thermometer, but you can get pretty good with the infrared. There's an art to it. I got a buddy that's a chef that comes over and wrecks my mind, and I need to basically just watch what he's doing to try and pick it up a little bit better.
Man, the only thing I miss about eating meat is burgers, man. I love burgers, man.
They are good, dude.
They're fucking good.
Hey, it was really great talking to you, bro. Everybody go to the chat room. Go to t.me/BitcoinHex and chat. We got 1,400 people there. I'd love to talk to you, including you.
All right, brother.
Later,
Thank you, sir. All right, man. You have a good day, and we'll talk again soon.
All right.